Hey there, it's Rob from Tribe 74, co founder. I'm here today with my partner and co founder, Andrew Stewart. How are you doing today, Andrew?
Yeah, bite yourself, Rob.
Not too shabby. How's life treating you in quarantine or self isolation, I guess?
Yeah, I've moved from quarantine now to self isolation, and it's okay. I'm a bit of a homebody anyway, so this doesn't really affect me that much.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. I've been able to work in my garage and set up my studio, and it's not quite where we need it to be quite yet, but uh, you know, that's what we do, and when we're doing nothing else, right? So.
Yeah, my wife is going nuts, but I'm fine.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what's it with you and I. Like we've got so much that we can do, so much to do, and that's the great thing about having like our own businesses and stuff on the go, right?
Yep.
Very very busy. So anyway, you wanted to talk about your first camera today. Is that true?
Yeah, yeah. So I happen to be pulling some stuff off the back of the door in the closet, and what I came across was the first camera that I ever bought. So this is it's I purchased it at Blacks, as you can see by the logo here. It Unfortunately, I don't think Blacks is in business anymore, but it was our big camera store in the day when I was growing up. So this is the first camera I bought. I was given a one of those old brick cameras when I was a kid by my aunt and uncle, which uh, which was okay in the day. But there came a time when I was in my early 20s that I wanted to just up my camera game. And so I bought well, it was new at the time, point and shoot film camera. It was a Fuji DL-1000 is the camera, and I still have it. And I thought it was pretty cool. It's what started me in photography in the first place, and really, I wasn't all concerned about lighting and timing and composition back then, but it was just going out and having fun and shooting pictures. And quite honestly, back then you didn't know what you were getting until you actually got that film developed. So,
Yeah,
and
that was the crazy. Sorry to interrupt.
yeah, I know. I was just saying, you're like, you just take a picture here and picture there. It takes you 6 months to go through a roll of film because you're so cautious.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. Like I think most of us, like well the older people like ourselves, we grew up with those kind of cameras where you actually had to spend the time and take the time to actually like you know kind of create your shot. Whether it was just like you had to find the perfect place, the perfect lighting, and all that stuff to get your shot. And I mean, for most people back then, right? Like the camera was there; it was there to make memories, to
Oh, exactly.
capture memories.
So this camera, um, what it is, it's a 35 millimeter to 80, and it's got this great little zoom on it that comes out, and all sorts of settings. It's got stuff for your landscape, and if you have a bright sunny day, you're doing some nighttime photography. You want to do some close-ups stuff as well too. It's got the classic flower to signify that, and I was just taking photos of anything and everything back then. Just really trying to learn how to use the camera and really pushing it to its max. So
Actually, like one of our first digital, actually our my first digital camera was a Fuji. Something I remember interesting about Fuji too is that they had their own card. They had their own. It was it the XD card or, but it was proprietary to Fuji, and it was kind of annoying because everything else at the time was getting into the SD cards and stuff like that. But I think you had with Fuji you had to go with the XD card. I think it was. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it was rather annoying, but at the
uh,
same time, it was a wonderful camera, and everybody else had their, their little Canon power shots or whatever it was at the time, but I absolutely loved the Fuji.
No, I tried to find some of the photographs that I had taken with this, and it took some fantastic photos. They're probably in a box in the back of a closet right now, but I couldn't come across them. Some of the extra things that I found in the case, which surprised me, was first off was a roll of film from Japan Camera, 24 exposures for general purpose 200. And as well too, another feature that the camera had was it came with this little case on the side. And inside, the quality is actually remarkable. Um, and then it comes in with this little plastic case here, and you open this up, and inside is this little piece. And what you'd actually do is before you put your film into the camera, you put this little piece in the back of the camera and what puts it into a panoramic mode. Now, once this is in, you have to shoot the entire roll of film as panoramic. And so I think I probably shot one entire roll of film with it. But it was just really kind of something cool that they added in with the camera. And probably now I'd use it more. But when back in '92, uh, I wasn't really interested in going out and doing that much panoramic photography, but maybe
Uh,
now.
it was a new technology back then. Like, I mean, just like any new technology, nobody knows what to do with it. They're just, hey, this is the greatest technology ever.
I need
Except
to own that.
that's right. Well, that's actually pretty cool. I didn't know that. Like, I always thought that it was something that was added on later, or it was like a setting somewhere in the camera. That's cool.
Uh, Not in the Fuji in '92.
92. My God, you were born back then.
Yeah, so
Good.
I mean, the camera, it just kind of took me back and brought back some old memories as to when I first started shooting and kind of what set me down this path, and really my passion for photography. So it's probably worth nothing now to anybody else. You probably find one for $50 now on eBay or Kijiji, what have you, but it's something I'd never get rid of.
Cool, and it's cool that you have one of the first or the earlier versions of it, to share and to take a look at and look back upon what you have now compared to what you had back in the day, or the stuff that we've seen other professionals use. It's pretty crazy how far they've come and how amazing pictures are. And the wonderful thing is, obviously, with digital, is that now you don't have to worry about taking your film in to go process, or to I mean, many professional photographers, we used to develop them themselves. Um, but now you don't have to worry about going to the what was it, Here's, photography, and you go to the to look in the window inside the mall, and there's your pictures coming down the front of the window for everybody to look at.
You need to be careful as to what's on that film.
Absolutely, absolutely. You couldn't just be like, take 1,000 pictures here and then hope that one's good, kind of thing, right? What you do with digital now.
Oh, exactly. It's funny that that you talk about the fact that the quality of photos with the SLRs. There were a lot of photographers when digital photography started that they held off for the longest time, moving to that format, and as well too. When digital cameras first came out, what they thought was a good digital camera was 3.5 megapixels. And something like that just seems unfathomable today.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's funny how across the creative industries and stuff like that, how the professionals always seem to be a little hesitant on moving with new technology. As an artist myself, illustrator, uh, you know, God, the idea of using a tablet or the idea of using a computer to make artwork just wasn't artwork. But then once you start to use it and you see, especially now as a lot of these, the software and programs and all that stuff are so much more advanced and make everything, I'm not going to say easy because it's not necessarily easy, and you still have to have that eye,
Oh,
the eye for art or the eye for
sure.
photography. But it just makes adds so many tools to your repertoire, like, and not only that, as a small business, a lot of creators, turn to small business, it makes it more attainable, right? You don't need to buy 37 different tubes of like $55 paint, or you don't need to buy like like $8,000 worth of software for one photo, right?
Yeah.
It's everything is so much easier now, easier, or I shouldn't, again, not easier, accessible.
Hmm.
It's
No.
really and it's but so my original point was that across all of these creative industries and stuff like that, you always see that there's always that initial like, I don't want to touch new technology, right? But as
Yeah.
you can see now, like, I mean, it's almost integrated now.
No, exactly. Now, having said that, I still have my SLR that I like to go out and shoot with now and again. I've got rolls of film packed away, ready to be pulled out and just go out when I'm shooting something for myself. It's just fun to kind of take your time and use that technology that got you into the game in the first place.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I agree 100%. I mean, I still pull out the pencil and I still draw away. Not as much as I should be, right? But uh, but I gotta ask you this: where do you
Yeah.
get it? Where do you get your film developed?
Well, generally, you can actually take it into Henry's here locally to get it developed. They send it off. They're not doing it in house.
So most
Uh,
professional Photoshops probably handle that kind
yeah,
of thing. Or
no.
I'm sure that there's somewhere online that you could just send it to, right? And they will
Oh,
take
I
care of
would
it.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've been driving around from grocery store to grocery store and strip mall to strip mall, trying to find a photo booth, but they're not out there.
No, no, absolutely not. Why? You can just do it all at home now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's really cool. It's cool to see that, and yeah, I appreciate you coming on and chatting about that. I
Yeah,
think
no, it's
it's
kind of fun.
yeah,
Now, if you can think of it, uh, why don't you post down below what your first camera was in the memory that got you going in photography?
that's a great idea. Yeah, so yeah, while you're hitting that subscribe button, while you're checking out and liking our videos, do that. Let's talk about it. Maybe we'll bring up we'll talk about some of the comments in our next video and see what everybody has to say. We appreciate you guys coming out, so be sure to hit the bell icon so that you can get notifications of all of our new videos when we post them up.